Hi guys, JT here, and today I'm bringing you some information on the Humble Bundle XCOM Complete Bundle of May 2025. To help you answer the question, should you buy it? By using the link in the description below, you'll gain access to this bundle and have the opportunity to gain early access to videos by buying a coffee through Buy Me a Coffee or Ko-Fi. Your support means the world to me, and I genuinely appreciate it. Anyway, let's get into this. At number 1 we have XCOM Chimera Squad, a standalone turn-based tactics game set in the post-Advent war world of XCOM 2. You command Chimera Squad, an elite team of humans, aliens, and hybrids, tasked with keeping peace in the diverse, tense metropolis of CD31. Instead of a globe-spanning strategy, you're focused on 9 districts, juggling city unrest and battling resistance groups before anarchy erupts. Tactical missions now begin with a breach phase, where you assign squad members to specific entry points, weighing risk versus reward. You then burst into rooms, guns blazing, but without clear battlefield awareness of past games. This chaotic start gives way to traditional cover-based combat, though positioning and movement feel more constrained than usual. Each of your 11 unique squad members has defined abilities. No custom characters here. That sacrifice means you miss the emotional arc of watching a custom soldier grow, but in return, you get voiced heroes with tight, combo-rich skill sets. As your team levels up, you unlock powerful synergies, like psychic chains of damage that turn the tide of battle in satisfying ways. The strategy layer lacks the visual flair and base building of previous XCOM titles, focusing more on managing abstract resources and city unrest. Without flashy upgrades, this portion feels like a numbers game rather than a narrative one. Despite stripped-down presentation and rough edges, Chimera Squad delivers clever, compact tactical combat. If you're open to its smaller scale, you'll find fast-paced, engaging encounters and just enough strategy to keep you hooked. At number 2 we have XCOM 2, a brutally challenging turn-based strategy game where you fight a desperate guerrilla war against alien overlords who've already won. You command the Avenger, a retrofitted alien ship, managing a resistance movement from your airborne base while making life or death decisions on a global scale. From the moment you enter the geoscape, you're overwhelmed by limited resources and impossible choices. You constantly scramble to build facilities, recruit soldiers, counter alien initiatives, and slow the ticking doom of the Avatar project. Every decision feels vital, every scan fraught with risk. Combat is tense and punishing. Procedural maps filled with destructible environments and verticality offer rich tactical options. You can set up ambushes during the new concealment phase, then unleash satisfying chaos when your trap is sprung. Classes like Sword-wielding Ranger and Drone-commanding Specialist give you powerful tools, but bad luck or poor positioning can cost you a veteran in seconds. Customization is deep. You can tweak your soldiers' loadouts, abilities, and appearance, forging real emotional bonds. Losing your favorite trooper stings, and a bar aboard your ship listing their names ensures you never forget. Enemies evolve constantly, introducing terrifying new threats that force you to adapt. The strategy layer and missions feed off each other perfectly, building tension and elation as you claw your way from disaster to victory. With higher playability, meaningful decisions, and rewarding progression, XCOM 2 is a masterclass in strategy. It does not just test your skill, it tests your will to fight when the odds are stacked against you. This bundle includes multiple DLCs, featuring more campaign missions, new classes, new factions, and cosmetics. At number 3 we have The Bureau, XCOM Declassified, a third-person squad-based shooter set during a 1960s alien invasion, serving as an origin story for the XCOM universe. It blends real-time shooting with tactical squad control, letting you slow time to issue orders, reposition allies, and change special attacks using battle focus. In theory, this creates smart, coordinated battles, but in practice, it's often just you doing all the work. Despite commanding a team, your squad mates behave like liabilities. They fail to follow basic tactics, frequently stand in grenade blasts, and require constant reviving. Combat can feel thrilling when it works, but too often, it is frustrating, especially when you're carrying the fight while your AI partners bumble through firefights. The world itself is beautifully rendered. Early 60s Americana is lovely recreated, only to be twisted in the grim battlefield of plague, mutilation, and alien terror. The attention to detail in small town settings and vintage design is remarkable, and there are moments where the environmental storytelling shines. Unfortunately, that's where the strengths end. Outside combat, the pacing collapses. You'll slog through dull corridors in XCOM's HQ, endure lifeless dialogue trees, and complete fetch quests that serve no real purpose. Mechanics that define XCOM, like meaningful research, permadeath, or tech acquisition, are hollow or absent. Your choices feel inconsequential. The Bureau wears XCOM's branding, but lacks its soul. What remains is a visually polished but mechanically uneven experience, one that falls short of both its technical heritage and its action shooter peers. You're better off remembering it as a missed opportunity. At number 4 we have XCOM Enemy Unknown, a turn-based strategy game where you command a global resistance against an overwhelming alien invasion. Fireaxis reimagines the classic XCOM formula with modern flair, creating a game that forces you to make difficult decisions, both technical and emotional. You lead a squad of custom-named soldiers into carefully designed, destructible battlefields, risking their lives on every move. Loss is permanent, and when your best medic dies to a flaming forklift, it's not just a setback, it's a gut punch. Each encounter delivers high-stakes tension. Cover systems, line of sight, and Overwatch mechanics work seamlessly to create nail-biting turns, especially on higher difficulties. Your squad's survival often depends on smart movement, synchronized attacks, and the occasional sacrifice. But even when you succeed, the cost can be haunting. Between missions, you manage XCOM's underground base, funding research, building facilities, and choosing upgrades. While this strategic layer offers critical long-term planning, the base itself feels static and impersonal. Despite unlocking new tech and hiring engineers, the visual feedback is minimal, and character development is underwhelming outside of combat. Still, the game thrives on the battlefield. Aliens are aggressive and cunning, and every encounter feels like a war of attrition against a more advanced enemy. You'll experience joy, guilt, and dread within a single mission. Though it stumbles in presentation and customization, XCOM Enemy Unknown excels where it matters most: combat, consequence, and storytelling through loss. It is a brutal but deeply rewarding strategy game that earns every hard-fought victory. This bundle includes multiple DLCs featuring more campaign missions, new classes, new factions, and locations. Not to mention the emotions. At number 5 we have XCOM Enforcer, a third-person arcade-style shooter where you take on the role of a lone robotic warrior built to eliminate alien invaders. Released in 2001, it's a fast-paced, over-the-top spin-off of the tactical XCOM franchise. But make no mistake, this game throws strategy out the window in favor of mindless action. You're dropped into simple levels, city streets, sewers, rooftops, and told to blast your way through waves of aliens using a growing arsenal of outrageous weapons. Objectives don't vary much. Kill aliens, destroy targets, and repeat. Missions are short and energetic, perfect for brief sessions of chaotic fun. You can upgrade your weapons and armor between levels, adding a basic but satisfying progression system. However, this is not a game for XCOM purists. There's virtually no connection to the series' strategic roots. Instead, Enforcer feels more like a relic of early 2000s game design. Loud, goofy, and proudly brainless. The camera can be frustrating, the difficulty is low even on harder settings, and the story is barely there, though it does offer some unintentional humor. Picking this up as part of a bundle, it is worth a quick spin. There is something endearingly dumb about watching aliens explode in clouds of green goop. But don't expect depth, and don't expect it to hold your attention for long. XCOM Enforcer is what happens when you hand the franchise to a popcorn action movie director. And if that sounds fun to you, it just might be. At number 6 we have XCOM Interceptor, a hybrid space combat and strategy game released in 1998 as the 4th entry in the XCOM series. In this installment, you take command of XCOM operations in deep space, defending Earth's mining colonies from a new alien threat. You'll juggle strategic base building, tech research, and resource management, while also hopping into the cockpit to engage in real-time space dogfights. The core concept is ambitious, blending the familiar technical management of previous titles with first-person flight combat. But the execution is uneven. On paper, it's a thrilling mix of planning and piloting, In practice, however, you'll often find yourself frustrated by technical issues, especially on modern systems. Frequent crashes, unkillable enemy targets, and broken mission scripts plague the experience, with many players unable to even launch the game without extensive compatibility tweaks. Still, there's a nostalgic charm here if you can get it running. The strategy layer offers classic XCOM depth, hiring pilots, upgrading gear, and fending off endless alien incursions. Dogfights can be tense and satisfying, provided the game does not crash mid-mission. Unfortunately, the AI, both friend and foe, is unreliable at best, and maddening at worst. Ultimately, if you're an XCOM fan, or a collector of vintage PC titles, you might enjoy what Interceptor tried to do. But for most players, this relic is best appreciated from afar. Unless you have an old PC handy or love troubleshooting, your time might be better spent elsewhere in the XCOM universe. At number 7 we have XCOM Apocalypse, a tactical sci-fi strategy game set in the dystopian city of Mega Primus, in the year 2084. As Earth's last hope, you take command of XCOM, charged of defending humanity from an insidious alien threat infiltrating the city through dimensional portals. What makes this installment unique from earlier entries in the series is its ambitious scope. You're not just fighting aliens, you're managing politics, economics, and public chaos in real-time or turn-based combat. You'll navigate citywide strategy as you research alien tech, deploy squads, build defenses, and raid hostile factions. The tactical layer offers deep customization and decision-making, but it's the city management and dynamic interactions with criminal gangs, corporations, and political factions that give the game its unique flavor. Battles can be intense and chaotic, and aerial combat adds another layer of challenge, with collateral damage affecting your reputation and relationships. Despite its age and unfinished elements, like underdeveloped factions and some balancing issues, XCOM Apocalypse still shines with originality and ambition. Some systems feel clunky today, and the game's late stages can drag, but its imaginative design and replay value more than make up for that. Audio issues might require tweaking, but the game runs surprisingly well on modern systems. If you're craving a strategic experience with complex layers beyond combat, this classic delivers. It may not be perfect, but few games match its creativity and depth. XCOM Apocalypse is a flawed gem that still feels ahead of its time. At number 8 we have XCOM Terror from the Deep, a classic turn-based strategy game that plunges you into an entirely new kind of alien war, this time under the sea. Set in a future where Earth is still recovering from the first alien invasion, your enemies return with a vengeance, rising from the ocean depths to open a devastating second front. You lead the XCOM organization once again, but instead of defending skies and cities, you now fight through sunken ships, underwater colonies, and deep-sea trenches. The gameplay is intense and cerebral. Every mission challenges you to think tactically, manage scarce resources, and adapt to strange aquatic environments. You'll deal with alien mutations, high-tech submarines, and the unique risks of underwater combat. One wrong move can doom a mission, or even your entire campaign. The game is notoriously difficult and sometimes brutally unfair. Even on the easiest setting, you may struggle against relentless enemies and slow, grueling missions. Aliens hide in tight corners, and it's not uncommon to spend ages hunting one down just to complete an objective. Still, if you embrace the challenge, you'll find a deep and rewarding experience. Visually, it is dated by modern standards, and the interface can be clunky, but the atmosphere and depth of strategy remain unmatched. The undersea setting gives the game a distinct identity within the XCOM series. If you enjoy tough tactical gameplay and don't mind a few rough edges, Terror from the Deep is a memorable dive into classic strategy at its most punishing. At number 9 we have XCOM UFO Defense, a legendary turn-based strategy game where you take control of XCOM, a global organization tasked with defending Earth from an escalating alien invasion. First released in 1993, this classic still holds up with its intense gameplay, deep strategy, and moody atmosphere. You'll start by managing a network of bases across the globe in the geoscape, where real-time decisions shape the flow of the game. You'll launch interceptors to shoot down UFOs, dispatch troops to crash sites, and oversee research into alien technology. Every choice matters, from base placement to equipment loadouts, and political support can vanish if you fail to protect certain regions. Once boots hit the ground, the game shifts into the battlescape, a brutal turn-based battlefield where your soldiers face off against deadly extraterrestrials. Early on, you'll feel totally outmatched, expect heavy casualties, panic, and desperate decisions. But that is part of the charm. You'll learn on the job, slowly gaining the upper hand by capturing alien gear, researching it, and manufacturing your own advanced tech. What makes UFO Defense so memorable is how it blends strategy, management, and heart-pounding tactical combat. It is unforgiving but fair. You'll learn, adapt, and grow stronger. Even decades later, it remains gripping and rewarding. Sure, the visuals are dated and there's no hand-holding tutorial, but if you're willing to dive in, you'll discover one of the most influential strategy games ever made. If you call yourself a strategy gamer, this is a must-play. Classic doesn't even begin to cover it. And that's all for this bundle. If you're into turn-based strategy and haven't experienced XCOM yet, this bundle is a steal. For just $10, you get access to the entire series, including classic and modern titles plus DLC. It is a perfect way to dive into a franchise known for its challenging gameplay, squad management, and the thrill of tactical combat. Whether you're new to the series or just missing some content, this bundle offers incredible value. Don't overthink it, just click buy it, and get ready to save the Earth. Special thanks to Terry D for subscribing to the Early Access Army, and Mr. TJ Gossage for buying the channel a coffee. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.